there's a story, I can't remember the name, it's like the story of the jungle or something, but a quote in the story is, "The strength of the wolf is the pack, and the strength of the pack is the wolf." Like, therefore, I chose the wolf because I had to work in a team this year as part of one of my modules where we're doing a mock trial, performing an investigation, all those kind of things. So it's very exciting. And on the end of my research, I submitted my final dissertation on the 22nd of August already. So luckily I'm finished with that. But it was very exciting and challenging. A lot of research, a lot of effort put in, a lot of discovering things that I didn't know. Yeah, but it was very exciting, and I'm really blessed to have been able to complete it this early in this year.
Okay, thank you very much. Do you perhaps mind to share what was your research all about?
Oh, okay, sorry. My research, since I'm doing forensic accountancy, I did my dissertation on state capture as a result of selective law enforcement. So basically what it is about is I took the state capture report, the Zondo Commission's report, I analyzed it and found that a lot of laws are already in place in South Africa but are not being implemented correctly. Therefore, state capture was able to take place.
Okay. No, that's great. So as well, others, they can also write their reflection on the chat room as well. So I'll give it to, I see the hand is raised. Ayanda Hans, if it may go.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ayanda. I am currently enrolled for Bachelor of Commerce Honors in Tourism Management. My reflection for this year, I'm glad that Mr. Libas also mentioned research, because I have been communicating with him on how I have been struggling with research module. The reason for the struggle is that we have been changed from supervisor to supervisor. The first supervisor, we had submitted our proposals to her, and she did give us a go-ahead to continue with our research topics, which we have chosen for ourselves, only later on to find out that she has relocated to the United Kingdom. So we had to start afresh and get new topics for ourselves. And then we had to present that topic and defend that topic on in front of a panel. So with regards to that, the first semester, my research marks were not that great. And as a reflection to now, currently on my 4th chapter of research that I'm submitting today. I will most probably get feedback by the end of next week. This year has been quite amazing for me, in a sense that I got to meet more people from the HCI Foundation when I am being in contact with them. And what has helped me is that I would always vent to them, like, whether I know you or I do not know you, I will tell you that I'm struggling with this and this, and I'm this far with my schoolwork and everything else. I chose a rhino because, like, I felt like everything was just coming in as a lot. Like, a rhino is a big animal, so everything was just a lot for me to tackle, and with so much limited time that I had to progress and submit everything that is expected from my side. At the moment, I have submitted chapter 4 of my research, and the supervisor has given me a go-ahead to start with chapter 5, which is the conclusion. All the data is collected, the research has been transcribed, and interviews have been conducted. So by far, I am getting there. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. And it's good to hear that you are on track, even though there were delays where you have to exchange the supervisor and all that. Thank you very much for sharing that. Okay, I see Sinetemba Tsetse also raise the hand. You may go ahead, Sinetemba.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, let me start by introducing myself. My name is Sinetemba Tsetse. I'm currently enrolled for a PGCE program at Stellenbosch. So I'm studying education, and so far, yeah, it's been quite hectic. I would say it's been quite a roller coaster ride. So I recently did my teaching practicals. We were allocated to schools for 8 weeks. So I chose a school, a public school in Philippi East, Vuyiseka Secondary School, and the experience was quite I would say I learned a few things, but at the same time, it was quite exhausting because I was exposed to what I was learning. I think we have this module, history and sociology of education, like it explores the inequalities like within the education system. So when I went to Vuyiseka, I kind of witnessed like this whole inequality thing. And I think like there's a huge gap in the like within the education sector because the school was quite under-resourced. The commitment from learners was quite low. Like I could go on about the issues, but academically, I think I'm surviving. Yeah, I think I'm surviving. And for my first semester marks, I think I'm quite pleased. Given the circumstances. Yeah, because I'm at SU, we had this racism incident and the rape culture thing. So it was quite a hectic semester, but I think I did well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So Sinetemba, what would you say are your plans for 2023?
Well, I want to start working next year, but my long-term goals, I do want to study further, like do my BA honors or maybe go the BA route because I am a political sciences major student. So I think I will go the education route in the long term. Maybe I might become the next Mamokgeti Parking from UCT.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's great. So SA2, I see your hand is up.
Hi there, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, SA2.
Okay, greetings everyone. My name is Iseto Mahlumba. I am doing my honors in African languages and literature at UCT. So my actual specific course is isiXhosa. So firstly, I chose a lion. I think that was just impulse, but then I just went on the internet and the animal that represents how my year went is a horse. It says here, a horse embodies independence, freedom, confidence, triumph, heroism, endurance, competition, and all those things. And I'd like to think that is specifically true for me for this year. I think 2022 has been a great year for me academically. I really think overall post-grad just showed me a different side to academia and education, and I'm enjoying it so much. So to talk about Imatsi, last semester I did really great, having a GPA of like 80%, and I've been enrolled in a lot of other things that are outside like academia. So I worked for the institutional audit that was happening at UCT. Yesterday, actually, I received a Top Achievers Award for isiXhosa, and I have a Durban trip that's coming up. So to speak about teaching and learning during COVID, looking at the public higher institutions of education. But I am having challenges here and there, especially with my dissertation. I finished my first draft, but I have issues with my supervisor who isn't really supportive, but I am trying my best. So my research topic is around a linguistic analysis of informal isiXhosa. So I'm looking at the syllable clipping, but using social media as a lens. But yeah, overall, I think this year has been great. It has instilled a sense of confidence in me and my studies. And my plans for next year are most probably to continue with academia and do masters, because there's a lot of opportunities for me there. Spoke to someone who'd like to publish my thesis, because it's like new and groundbreaking work. And yeah, I think I'm immensing myself with UCT. And yeah, that's really great for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Eset, for sharing that, and also the issue of the supervisor not being supportive. In what way? What would you say? In what way would you say your supervisor is not supportive? Let's maybe try to get a context out of that. Do you mind sharing that?
Okay, so so I had initially chosen a topic for my dissertation. However, my supervisor wasn't like, helping me with any resources or like guidance. I don't know. He kind of had this thing that I wrote an honors thesis before, which I have never. So he didn't like give me a guide to, how to work around it. So then there was someone else who was like overly eager to help me, which resulted in me changing my topic because obviously I won't compromise with my education. I will go where I can find help. So obviously the other person helped me with the resources, with the guidance and stuff. But now the supervisor, there's this thing where I think he thinks I did that thing out of like personal spite, which I did not. I think he may think that I undermined him and stuff, which I really did not. It's not personal at all. It's just about my education, and I'll go where I can receive help. So currently, he's been like passive aggressive. Like when he's commenting on my work, he uses caps, and it's more like he's just what's the word? Criticizing, but not constructively, because he is criticizing me, but he's not giving me ways and measures we can take to, attend to the issues that he's seeing with my thesis. But he's just saying wrong, 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 wrong. So yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I think maybe our guest speakers who have done the research, I think they've done the research, might be able to advise you the way about of how to go about that. And also, I think we can also talk with you as well after this session as well and just find out if there any way where we can help in terms of that. So Zenande, I see your hand is up. And after that, it's going to be Omile.
Morning, everyone.
Morning, Zenande.
Let me introduce myself. My name is Zenande Mbame. I'm currently studying media and journalism honors at the University of the Free State. So this year for me, just a disclaimer, I have class in a few minutes, so I won't be long. Sorry. Okay. This year for me has been, I don't know, it started off slow. And then now with the research proposal, hey, everything is going fast and there's a lot of work. And everything needs you to be on point and like fight because hey, this year we are fighting. And it's not a choice not to get these honors because we chose to be here, and the only solution is to finish this year on a high note. So last semester my marks were good. Like I was happy with my marks. I actually got distinctions in most of my majors. So this semester I'm working on that as well. I think that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Omile.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, everyone. So nice to meet some of the beneficiaries. Must I say? I don't know.
Yes.
The animal I chose is a honey badger. The reason why it's so a honey badger, if you look at its size, it's quite a small animal, but it can take on any animal that comes on its way, including a lion itself. So I think that animal represented the year for me where, with the challenges that I was facing, and but I was able to overcome some of them, and also with assistance from HCI. So I think I had the spirit of a honey badger, although the challenges looked bigger to accomplish. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, Omile, for sharing that. Irie, I see your hand is up. Ari, can hear us? Okay, while we're waiting, Resin, do you want to come in?
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, I hope everyone is doing well. My name is Reeson Kalsum, and I am studying a BCom honors in marketing management at UKZN. I would say my year has been a lion because with the dissertation and the research project that has happened, there have been some struggles, but as a lion, it represents strength and courage. So it's like pulling yourself out of those states where you're unsure about something, you doubt a lot, and it's pushing through those stages and understanding and having like and having like a structure where you take the knowledge and then you apply it to your work. My project is my project that I'm doing is on the impact of small and medium scale the project that I'm doing is on the impact of social media on small and medium scale enterprises. So basically, it's going through how digital advertising, in particular social media, can help small and medium scale enterprises. Because in today's world, because of COVID, many people have switched to digital advertising. And before, it was very hard for small and medium scale enterprises to advertise because newspaper is expensive, TV is expensive, and radio is expensive. So I'm trying to educate small and medium scale business owners to say, you know what, we don't need to use these types of platforms. We can leverage digital marketing and digital media channels in order to become successful and have a much greater impact on our economy. And that can also help because it generates more attention to those businesses, as well as this can help with generating more revenue, which increases people getting more jobs, which also helps with the economy as well. So that's what I've been doing.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing that. Let me just read one comment from the chat room from Bongani. Bongani says, my reflection is that this year has been the toughest year in terms of academics. I'm currently enrolled for postgraduate diploma in accounting science. My marks for the first semester were not great, and I was struggling a lot with auditing, but I have improved this semester and preparing for the final year exam, which is starting in the 10th of October. Thank you, Bongani, for sharing that. I'm happy that you have been able to improve your marks in the second semester and ready now for the final exam. So thank you very much for sharing. I think we'll recap this conversation maybe later on the session. We'll try to find time. Those who have not spoken, they can also share on the chat room as well. So I will give, Irie, are you still there? Because I see your hand is still up. Okay, I think I might have a problem with the network. So I will give it to Kwanele Ngogela, who's going to be speaking about his journey and then how he was able to unbundle his qualification, you know, throughout this journey so that it's benefits to him, and as well, how maybe creating networks and maintaining those networks. And also you'll talk about the importance of personal branding, and also as a full-time employee or a full-time worker and be able to juggle and persuade the passion of entrepreneurship and also the financial literature in the first job. So he's going to tackle those issues. So Kwanele, if you may come in.
Hi, September. Morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but we can't see you, your camera.
Let's try again. You need difference?
Yeah, we can see your head, but can you put your camera in the ear? Put it.
Problem is I cannot see myself. Let me see the view. Is that better?
Yes, yes, I think that's better.
Awesome. So good morning, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. I was listening carefully to some of your reflection of the year it was or the year it is. Some interesting takeouts. So I hope we will find time, maybe in some other time, maybe either one-on-ones to reflect on those. But thanks for having me. So mine is simple. As Natemba has outlined, what I'll be sharing with you guys. But before I start, to talk about unbundling qualification, or as I term it, diversification of qualification. I would hope you guys, as young scholars, you appreciate your diversity, either culturally, academically, and so on and so forth, in terms of all the career, I would say, options that lies ahead of you. You guys are doing different things, and that's great. And there is a context in which you guys exist. So you are currently in universities, and universities are what we call microcosm of society. So you guys, in as much as you are in universities, as I can imagine, you will be confronted with some of the societal challenges as we know it. So universities don't necessarily protect us from these. The society in which you are coming from, obviously some of us are coming from poverty-stricken backgrounds. We understand the challenge of employment, and we know we are living in what is usually touted as the world's most unequal country in terms of income. So, and it's along the racial lines, right? So more and more you'll hear of the triple challenge of poverty, unemployment, and inequality when we try to contextualize the challenges in which we are confronted as young people in this country. So basically, as a Black in a broad sense, that would include what is usually termed as previously disadvantaged individuals, either the colored community, Indian or community, Black people, or Africans in general. So by Black, I refer to that, at least in terms of access either to opportunities, jobs, business opportunities, and so on and so forth. We're still at the back foot, right? So it is very important, guys, that as you are pursuing your qualifications, you understand that you really do not have time to play. I'm not here to motivate you, I'm just here to give you a context. Now, this is a triple challenge of unemployment, inequality, and poverty that I've just outlined. They are also laced with the challenge. Now we will hear a lot about climate change, right? And what's the fuss? Whatever you guys are doing, the industries in which you'll go through, you'll find out. Maybe I will have to break that down later on. But climate change is real, it's not a belief. It's not just a matter of changing climate patterns, but it has like far-reaching implication in terms of resource availability, affordability, and the availability of opportunities. Also, it doesn't go alone. There's also a market volatility. You would have heard of stagnation, inflation. We are currently looking at the CPI now, it's not good. You guys, you in the economics would have studied a lot about the financial crisis, right? So those triple challenges of unemployment in particular, there's a challenge of resource scarcity availability, currently driven by climate change, but also market volatility, in which we are really not growing the GDP or creating enough jobs, which means this is all these things are shaping the job markets as we know it. So it's very important to understand the South African economy, its breakdown, what sectors contribute to what to the GDP. Just because if you're doing environmental science, it doesn't mean that you don't have to care about those things, right? So what I'm trying to demonstrate here, to remind you that these challenges are complex and they are interdependent. And they, because of the nature of the globalized community which we are living in, so what happens at point A, whether it's in India and China, it has what we call cascading effects or a domino effect. So what happens here affects what happens in Ngogela. It happens Silicon Valley. It happens how we communicate in Ngogela. Because of the globalization, how globalized is the global community. Now, so they are unfolding currently all these trends, challenges in front of our eyes, and they are shaping the world. And we are calling them the global mega trends, and they cut across the social and the economic, political, and technological, as also environmental dimensions. Why I'm giving you this context? Because of the globalized nature of these challenges and the global market integrations, there are evolving power shifts globally, and also accelerating globalization. Urbanization. So I can imagine a lot of you guys, because of you have to go to universities, you have to go to the more urbanized spaces. Huge demand for energy, and we know we cannot provide that energy, hence black out. Some of you of this cohort couldn't be here because of load shedding. Right. Now, this trends have huge implication on the global demand for resources such as crude oil, coal, food, and other commodities. And therefore, the production is shifting towards the emerging markets, which is India, South Africa, and so on and so forth. So you guys, as you will be going in the near future to the job markets, you'll find job markets that are shaped by those trends. Why am I highlighting this? Because I have to talk about unbundling of qualifications or diversifying of qualifications. Because of you've studied economics, it doesn't mean that you do not have to study about urbanization. Because of you studied maybe HR, at least we have to understand how are these trends shaping the job markets and the skills that will be required in the evolving job market contexts, right? Such that you can be able to impart training and staff that is so fit to be able to step up to the challenge of change. Just because of you are studying geography doesn't mean that you do not have to understand what inflation is, what causes inflation. Because the world in which you will operate will be confronted with interconnected challenges that you won't solve as an individual. Now, by diversifying your skills, we do not say go to study totally different qualifications, of which I've always done. I've done that before, and I've continued doing that. After studying maybe applied geology, I went to study water and environmental science, basically hydrology, and majored with geographical information systems. That's why I didn't go to work in mines. I went to work for the city of Cape Town. But I didn't work under environmental or water-related stuff. I went to work for energy. Now, we were the ones who were responding to the challenge of energy at the time, but obviously it's not something that you can solve overnight. But in terms of diversifying, that's why we are seeing thoughts of where you can charge EVs here in SA. So we're trying to pioneer that because we could see that the energy thing will come to haunt us and will stay along with us. But because of when I was there, I went to retail. So retail, this is Woolworths. That's where Woolworths sustainability comes in. So what we were doing there, we were responsible to impart sustainability within the social, economic, and the governance side of things to ensure that the business is responding to the challenges, the changing consumer trends, changing production and consumption patterns, to ensure that it evolves, stays relevant, right? And also cognizant and taking advantage of innovation, leveraging talents locally, globally, but also ensuring that we focus largely on supplier development locally so we can create jobs locally. So, just said something. Sorry, let me respond. Yeah. So that's where the importance of diversifying your skill set. You guys are having access to the internet. You can learn so much from Khan Academy and other learning channels on YouTube, such that you understand this topic, these mega trends. So skill set does not always translate to having a certificate qualification. How good are you with Excel? Can you create pivot tables? Can you have, like, because of you studying statistics, can you fathom basic string of code? You know, all those resources are at your disposal. Right. So I will quickly try to accelerate it a bit, but because of you guys are such a big group, you ought to understand that some of you in this group will go into different sectors. Some of you will go to extraction of raw minerals such as gold. Some of you will go to farming, pharmaceutical. Some of you will go to manufacturing, utilities, some maybe construction, companies such as Group 5, Marie and Roberts in construction. Some of you are retail, Woolworths, ShopRite, and so on. Some of you will go to financial services with Alex Forbes, the Coronation, or Mutual. Some of you will be bankers, right? And some of you will go to IT. Some of you will go to education because of your academically inclined, and some of you maybe will go to work for government in the public sector, or maybe some will stay in R&D, research and development, consultancy, and so on, which means the importance of building networks, it starts here now with the people that you're with. Because when you're in manufacturing, you want to know what is happening in utilities. There might be opportunities there. So some of your mates or classmates, this cohort, can be able to tell you about those opportunities. So it starts here. So you guys, I hope at some point you'll have a WhatsApp group. You're done with your honors now, some of you going to masters. However, those who are finding themselves in different sectors are sharing the opportunities that they come across in their companies and so on, which means we're having a bigger pool of people to leverage. Build very important relationship with your supervisors because they know people in different sectors. Learn how to manage conflicts, because when you are doing dissertation, there are a lot of frustrations. And trust me, your supervisor probably knows better, but learn how to manage conflicts. That will help you in the professional development and in the working world. Quickly, I won't touch on personal branding. I'll quickly touch on, maybe some of you will pursue masters, but I would strongly advise structured masters as opposed to masters by dissertation only. I would strongly advise, but that's coming from me. We'll talk about that. But also because of you guys have studied, some of you are talented, are having skills. You are not entitled to a job. Cast your net wider. Some of you are entrepreneurial. However, because the society dictates that you take this university route, great. There are foundations that are assisting you with bursaries, great, such as HCI Foundation, but some of the challenges in your communities might be solved by social entrepreneurs such as yourselves. So do not be scared to venture in in business, fail, learn, and so on and so forth. I've been doing those things, but I've been largely successful in other businesses. Some have been failing, but I find my feet. Some of them, then I will hand over to more talented people than myself to run them. But what will be important to you, why I'm emphasizing this to you, is that it's time management. I've been into honors, done a lot of work in business school, juggling work with studies is not a child's play. At any given point, even only honors, because at that particular point in time, I don't think you're having sufficient experience to be on your own, hence you're being supervised and so on and so forth. But how you manage your time will determine how your academic transcript look like. But the last point is that I've mentioned that we're living in a globalized community and integrated markets. In your universities, inquire about international scholarships that are fully funded. There are a lot of those, and South African students, are not applying for those. If you're looking at the US consulate, there will be opportunities for you to go to study in the US. Chinese consulate, there will be opportunities for you to go to study in China, India, so on and so forth. You can go to Europe for fully funded MSc. Please inquire about those opportunities and pursue those opportunities because they are actually there. And we need you guys to go abroad, to go and learn how learning there because of we are living in hell here. We need you guys because of we are more exposed to these opportunities. Take advantage of them. Snetamba, thank you very much for having me. So I'll jump to another meeting now, but I'll join you guys later. Or I'll listen in for now.
Okay. Can you able to take questions?
Yes, I will just shift from where I'm currently sitting, or give me a minute while they are formulating their thing.
Okay, that's
just
fine. Okay, thanks. Thank you, Kwanele, for that. Thank you for that presentation. Does anyone have a question or any comment for Kwanele? Okay, I think, okay, is someone talking? You may raise your hand if you have any question or any clarity.
Can you hear me? Okay, yes, I'm just changing.
Okay, that's, I think for me, what's my takeout is that what you have just presented now is that one needs to look what's happening globally and then how that will affect, you know, his or her community, and then how that then you have to channel in terms of diversifying your qualification. For example, now we're in the 4th industrial revolution. So everything you have to do now is technologically, there's such a huge interest around coding that everyone now is required, you know, to have a little knowledge about coding. And then also, I remember you once share on your pages also the free courses that are there that one just can do just out of interest and curiosity. But those things will be able to help you in future as well. So I think that's my take. Does anyone have a question for Kwanele?
I see a question from, oh, I saw some hands here. Yeah, but they can just.
I just wanted to ask this question, Kwanele, in terms of then when you get, let's say, your first job, because I think you do have like a broader knowledge around financial literature in the first job. So what advice maybe would you maybe give to our students in terms of that? Because sometimes we, you know, we jump to material things while we're getting that small salary because we're excited, but what advice will you give them?
Oh, that's an interesting one. So I guess it's discipline, you know, discipline. It's like you've answered part of that, so it will be disciplined. So I'd encourage you guys to be very disciplined. And also I know some of us are coming from different backgrounds. That is what we call black tax, you know. Sometimes you ought to manage expectations quite very well from home, just because if you've got maybe your first internship in the near future, which will be giving you a stipend. Obviously, you need to cover your own basic needs with that, but manage expectations from home. There's always the right time for, you know, more material stuff later on when you've just built like a solid foundation in your early career. And I don't think there is like a push to have like a fancy and glittering Insta at this point in time, you know. So sometimes there is this thing that they call mental illness, where your desires, you're desiring material stuff that are here, but your means are here. There's also a say that lives within your means. That simply means you push these things within your means. However, if all these things that you want here and these are your means, that gap will determine the level of mental illness and stress that you'll be having, because you are putting unnecessarily financial pressure on yourself, stuff that are unnecessary, stuff that you cannot afford, but you will start at a back foot because of this gap. This is your means, this is all what you want to fantasize about material stuff. So to bridge this gap, the only way to do it is credit. So which means you will go for credit in order to be here, as opposed to doing this. You will do this. That credit will put you at a very bad back footing, and you do not want to start with unnecessary debts because your career life will be hell. Also, the last thing, because if you won't be able to service debt or unnecessary credit at a young age, because of your these materialities, you run the risk of being blacklisted. And once you're blacklisted, some of the companies, when they are doing like background check on you, you can elaborate on this because on HR. Some companies, I know for a fact, within the financial services, if you are blacklisted, that basically means that you are unemployable.
Yeah.
Right. So it is very important that you guys stay away from credit or unnecessary credit, because should you not be able to service it, it might put you in a very awkward situation in which you won't be able to work for other sectors. And in South Africa, I should mention that we're having like a growing financialization of our economy. We have a big and growing financial sector. So if you guys want to be bankers, you want to be investment brokers, so on and so forth, you want to go to fintech, all these things will kind of affect your profile, because it simply means I cannot trust you with my company and give you keys to my companies if we cannot handle your affairs. So you ought to be financially frugal, at least at this point in time. There comes a point in time where we'll be able to build expertise and we'll be hitting a hit. You will start earning relatively well to meet some of these things. Now you can go to what do you call excursions, have an iPhone 14, nobody cares.
Yeah.
iPhone.
Okay, thanks, Kwanele. And then there's also one question from Risen. I think, Risen, if you might go ahead with your question.
Hi, I wanted to ask, with regards to managing like the expectation, would a great practice be practicing delayed gratification? So it's like knowing that, say, for example, I want this car, I think, but saying to yourself, what's it? I will get it, but not right now. It will happen in the future. So it's like managing that. Would you say that is one of a good practice that especially students that are going into the working world should practice that, like from now, even in their research? Like, yes, things won't go to plan at the moment, but you have to keep with the process, keep with what you're doing, and then at the end of the day, it will bear fruit at some point.
You couldn't have, I could never put it better than the way Rosan have put it. However, I must add, very important, because of you're delaying self-gratification, that does not necessarily mean that you have to deprive yourself, right? So the goal here is, it's okay to reward yourself. But, you know, because you guys are working hard, you know, there ought to be rewards. Enjoy yourself, a young person. But do not say stay indoors the whole weekend, never go out, never get this and that, right? By all means. But the key word here is responsible. It's responsibility. So in whatever it is that you're doing, as you are delaying that gratification, please ensure that you do not deprive yourself. Guys, I'm having a minute in the a meeting in the next 2 minutes. So I hope we've covered much, but the last thing that I want to leave with you guys is that rates are your currency currently. Rates are your currency. Rates will be determined by your discipline, not because how smart are you, but how disciplined are you? Not necessarily how hardworking are you. I hate the word hard work, but how coordinated, disciplined are you? If you know what you need to be doing and doing what you need, because you know what you should be doing. Consult, right? Consult, be selfish with your time. Sometimes you ought, especially when it's crunch time, just put your social media, what do you call, deactivate your accounts temporarily, because there's always a lot happening, which is just deactivate, at least now because of its crunch time, and focus on this last stretch, such that we wrap up all those things without unnecessarily disruptions. If you stay off social media, at least for now, up until November, when you are done with that, you'll see, you'll have those withdrawals in the first few days, trust me, because of there's always that edge of wanting to check your phone. But in a week or so, you'll feel as if you've done something for yourself. And that feeling, I cannot describe, but you will know it in the next coming weeks when you've deactivated that sense of purpose, that drive, consult and everything. But Charlie, Mr. Libazi, so thank you very much, and to you and the HCI Foundation for having me. I'll join much later. I'm joining a meeting now.
Okay, thank you very much, Kwanele, for taking your time and then also sharing your knowledge and your expertise. Thank you very much. If anyone, you can just write your comment about Kwanele's session on the chat room. Now we'll move to Tshepelang Sekonyela, who will be speaking about transitioning from being a student to the world of work, or to the professional world of work environment. So I'll give it to Tshepelang.
Morning, everyone.
Morning, Tshepo.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I'm in a factory, so there's a little bit of a sound behind me, so please don't mind it.
Okay. Tshepo, is your camera, can you also see it? Because there's a window.
Yeah, let me just try
There's a
and
light.
fix that.
You can... Yes, so that we can even recognize you from when you walk in the streets.
Is that better?
That's better.
Okay. Yeah, morning, everyone. As they said, my name is Tshepelang and my surname is Sekonyela. I'll be taking you through what I I personally think it's important for you to transition from university to the world of work. What I'm sharing, it's not the full of it because everyone has got a different view on it. I'll share as much as I can, and I'll share what I know as much as possible. So yeah, I've prepared a little presentation so that everyone can see what we're talking about, and I'll take you through, guys, the presentation. And after that, we'll then have a session for questions. I don't know if I still need to introduce myself again, but I think, as they said, I'm currently working for a company called Corobrik. I'm an HR specialist, but Corobrik is a company that deals with clay bricks. We do those small bricks that in the villages they call them. What do they call them again in the village? They call them a face
18.
brick.
Yes,
Yeah,
face
yeah,
brick.
yeah. Okay, so that's what we currently deal with. Okay, please share the presentations, Natemba. Okay, guys. As I said, my presentation will be based on transitioning from being a student to the professional work environment. I know there's some expectations, and I hope I'm not going to disappoint those expectations. I'll just try and be as realistic as I can, and try and be fair to everyone as much as I can. So yeah, let's go on the next slides, Natemba. Okay, someone this morning spoke about Prof. Mamokgethi Phakeng. I then just think we all like him. Umile, your hand is up, sorry.
I'm sorry to disturb the session, Tshepelang. But since you mentioned Corobrik and I being born in Durban, there used to be Umakeng. I don't know if you know the guy's name, but he used to host like a small induction into bricklaying for about a month or two, and then you get certification. But then it stopped in the beginning of last year in Jan. Yeah, that guy had been doing that thing for a long time. So yeah, I just wanted to find out if you know about it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Umile. So we stopped it last year because of some financial things, because it's got financial aspect in it. You know, we need to fund it, but we started with it again, and this time around we rolled it nationally. So in the Western Cape, you find that it's in Lansdowne. In Gauteng, we have it in Lenasia, and then in Durban, we still have it in Avoca. We still have for 2 months, we do the bricklaying training for interested parties that are unemployed. We funded ourselves, and the 2 months program, it teaches you the basics of bricklaying, and from start to finish on how because our bricks, there's a specific way of how to build on them and how to clean them if they are dirty and all of those things. So there's a lot of factors that goes into the brick. So we still do it, Umile, to answer you quickly. We still do that training. If you want more information, we can speak just after this, and you can take my contact details from Snatemba, and we can speak and we can take it from there.
All right, thank you, sir.
Okay. Sorry guys, I just need to charge the screen. Yeah. Okay, just needed to charge it. There we go. Okay. So guys, in terms of job opportunities, I think from what Mr. Kwanele was saying, guys, this is not us trying to talk bad about South Africa or anything, but that's what it is, guys. If if there's an opportunity for you to go overseas, please go. You need the exposure, you need the opportunities. We don't have enough opportunities in South Africa. It's the reality, it's the facts. We're not just talking about it because we want to demotivate students or whatnot. There is opportunities, but they're not enough for everyone. You guys know the latest statistics says that about 70% of young people are currently not working. And yes, there's a small percentage of graduates that are not working, but that percentage, if you look at it, how it's been growing over the years, it's not going down, it's going up. So it's the reality, it's the facts of what is happening. But there are job opportunities, and what we're trying to say is there's not enough of them, and we're not creating a conducive environment as the policymakers to ensure that we get more of these guys investing in the country, or even getting more of our people, our own people starting their own things. We're not creating that environment. So those are the realities, guys. If you get an opportunity anywhere elsewhere, please grab it. But my quote there, or from Meprof Mamoketi, she says, and she was presenting this 2 months ago to the students, and she said one of the things that she said is, opportunities are always highly contested. They are highly contested. When one is presented to you, make sure you grab it with both hands and use it wisely. Fully commit on, don't accept the opportunity at all. Half measures will not take you half measures will not take you forward. Take up opportunities with decisiveness and full commitment. One wasted opportunity is more expensive than a missed one. So, that's how little opportunities we have in the country. It's very contested, and we say to you guys, we don't say it to scare anyone. We've been in your positions before. So we're talking about something that we know, that we've went through, So please, any opportunity that comes, if you need to prepare for the whole week, please do that. Don't take it for granted. But what we're saying is, what is also important that we've learned in the field is never ever stop learning. Never ever stop learning. Never stop learning. And I'll just take you guys through the whole presentation. Then is what we mean by never stop learning. When you start working and you start working as an intern, and you get paid 5,000 rand or 6,000 rand, and there's a cleaner there, there's a tea lady there, or whatever the situation, there's a general worker. Never ever take those people for granted because they they didn't get the opportunity as much as you did. They were not able to go to university or whatnot. The little that you'll get, and the little that you'll learn from that tea lady or that general worker, take it and never stop learning, guys. Never stop learning. But then what we say with the opportunities, how do you get these opportunities and grab them with both hands, is you must have a good CV. And what do we mean by that? People say, I know there's different views and everything, and people look at this thing differently. I'm talking from experience of sitting on the other side of the table and also sitting on this side of the table. So I'm saying, as a candidate, I know, and also as a person that is interviewing the candidate, I know what most companies look for. So in your CV, what do we mean by good CV? And I hope you guys will take notes, because and also Snetemba can share this presentation once we're done. What we talk about when we talk about good CV, guys, there's literally very few things that people look at on your CV. People don't look at everything on your CV. People look at very specific things, and those specific things, for me, there's 3 of them, right? People look at what are your skills, what can you offer, so your skills will obviously come from your experience. What experience do you have? So what we normally say is, even before we look at the name, we look at we're looking for a salesperson, and I'm making an example. We go straight to the experience, and your experience must be your current experience, or your most recent experience must be at the top. We don't want you to start with something that you did in 2018. We want you to start with something that you did in 2021, if there was something that you've done, So that's what we look for, because there's 20 CVs that I have to look for, or 40 CVs that I have to look at. I just wanna quickly browse on them as quickly as I can. So I don't have the time to go and look at the end of your CV and you put in your recent. So your recent experience must be at the top of your experience. And then the second thing that I'm going to look at, I'm going to look at the qualification that we said, because remember when we advertise this post, we'll say this is the minimum requirement. And if we say it's a minimum requirement, it means it's an inherent requirement of the job. We cannot give you the job without that qualification. It's very important. So if we're looking for an engineer, you know, in electrical engineering department, we would specifically say we're looking for an N6, or we're looking for a diploma in engineering, electrical engineering, you know. So we'll be specific like that, and that's what we look for. But thirdly, which most of us really don't take this one into account at all, and people really get surprised when we talk about it, is we actually look at the address. Funny enough, we look at the address. We need to see where the person stays. We need to see if this person is going to be able to come to work. Will they be able to travel to work? How long will they be able, you know, how long will it be required for them to travel to work? You know, they're not going to be late. We're not going to have issues of, we have to discuss them not coming to work and all of those things, you know. So we look at those and as I said, there's a lot of views here, but me and the panel that I've shared the seat on the other side with, those are the basic things that we look at, you know. Everything else, you know, your achievements and whatnot, yes, it's a plus, but it really doesn't, it does not make your CV, you know, to be an outstanding CV, you know, because we will look at that maybe at a later stage when we interview you, or if we choose to say, listen, man, let's send this person for a psychometric test, or let's send this person for a second interview, then we'll look at those things. But in general, we're not going to look at those things, you know. We're not going to definitely look at that. Then recruitment agencies, guys, recruitment agencies are very important nowadays. A lot of companies, because it takes a lot of time to look into the CVs. So it's better if you outsource the function and you give it to someone else to do the whole thing for you. The only thing that you do is the interviews. You know, you just do the interviews, you do the assessments, and then you appoint the person. You know, you don't want to sit and look at the CVs. But I can tell you now, even the agencies that we use, we tell them specifically to say, look at this and look at that and look at that. That's all that we're looking for. We just want to see those things, and that's why I'm saying it's important. So in terms of recruitment agencies, guys, there's too many of them, but there's also good ones that I would really say you guys must go and look out on them. You know, there's one example of them is, you know, there's a recruitment agency that is based in Cape Town. For those that are in Cape Town, it's called Nomatu Consulting. So Nomatu Consulting is a recruitment agency that does headhunting. So we tell them specifically to say, we're looking for someone that is currently working in the steel industry, that is an electrical engineer, please go and find us. Then they will go and take that person from Maxtel or from South African Metal or whoever. They will go and, you know, pouch that person and get them for us. You know, that's what they do. And then after that, they will then do, you know, they will do checkups on that person. Once we've hired the person, they will do checkups 3 months, 6 months, to check if that person is a right fit or not, and all of those things. So there's really good one. And that's one example that we work with. There's a lot of them. We work with your Express recruitments, your Pollock recruitment, your Melton resourcing. You know, there's a lot of them that I can count, but they really do a very good job, you know. And then the third thing that you can do is, the company websites are very important. Some companies still do on their websites, and they do it amazingly. As we spoke about the fourth industrial revolution is, you know, in the company website is, they have this new thing now that they would advertise an HR post, HR administration, or a finance administrator position, but they'll put in specific requirements. And if you don't meet those requirements, then it doesn't accept you from the beginning, you know. So they do all of that to make it easy for themselves in terms of selection and all of those things. Guys, LinkedIn profile, it's not your social profile, it's a network profile. It's a network profile. It's not a social profile. Stop posting pictures. Stop, you know, if you see Tshepelang posting a job there, stop saying you're interested. Rather message Tshepelang and ask Tshepelang, you know, what are the details about this job? You know, what can I do to actually apply for the job? Don't say you are interested. There's 100 other people that are interested. So why would I why would I look at your interest and follow it up? Remember, you are the one that is looking for an opportunity, not the other person. So take it serious, whatever you post on LinkedIn. If there's if you need to, there's a lot of us now just go and comment and say, interested, or whoever must apply. Don't do that. Rather message the person so that you find more information about what has been posted, right? It's very important how your profile look on LinkedIn. It must look professional. And I said to Snetemba yesterday when we were busy preparing, it's so disappointing to see a profile and then your name starts with a small letter. Your name, you start your name on a profile with a small letter. It's so disappointing. I'm not gonna even, it loses me. I can't even pay attention to that profile anymore if I'm looking at that. And myself as Tshepelang, I am talking from experience. I found a job from LinkedIn. Someone contacted me on LinkedIn to say, I looked at your profile. This is what you've done. Can you avail yourself for interviews? And from interviews and everything, then I got a job just by my profile looking professional. Because I took it as a professional networking profile. It's nothing else. It's nothing else. It's just your professional thing. Your Facebook profile, guys, on this one, I know it's your personal profile, but what you post, be mindful of it. Be mindful of what you post. Sometimes we as young people, I'm one of the young people, I'm young, I'm like you guys, you guys can see, you go out on a Friday or Saturday or, whatever, then you post out. Guys, we go for interviews, we select you for a second interview, or we select you for, the next process on the interview process. And then we want to go through your profile. We want to know the person now. Then we go through your Facebook profile and then we see the things that you do. Then we start saying, oh God, no. This guy or this lady, Fridays, we're gonna have a problem. She's not gonna come to work. Either she's gonna be sick or, she wants to go and do something else. On Monday, she's gonna have babalas. We're not gonna be able to fully utilize her for the full day. This is a red flag. We're not gonna take this person. You don't want those things behind the scenes happening on your name, right? So that's it, guys. Let's go to the second slide, Ntema.
Oh.
Okay, so this one is it's what do you need to prepare when you're going for interviews, right? And I did 2 slides on purpose on this, but I'm gonna run it quickly on it because I see Snetemba, we're almost gonna run out of time because at 11 I'm also going for another meeting, so I want to leave 5 minutes for questions, right, guys? So when you prepare for the interview, guys, your attitude is very important. Go look at yourself in the mirror and say, do I have the right attitude? When I get to the interview, will I be seen as the right person? Is my attitude at the right place? There's a lot of things that are happening in the country, mental health and all of those things, but please prepare yourself and put your attitude at the right place. And then I'm saying, look at yourself in the mirror, make sure that you have a right attitude for that particular day. Guys, you cannot send your CV to 2 people and your CV looks the same. Your CV must match the skills. If we're looking for a salesperson at Corobrik and ceramic or Italtai is looking for a salesperson, those are 2 different businesses. Italtai or ceramic deals with tiles. We deal with bricks. So you're gonna sell tiles at ceramic, you're gonna sell bricks at us. We don't expect you to have exactly the same skills, even though we're looking for salespeople, because we know that at you being required to sell bricks, you need to go and sell the bricks for someone that wants to build. That person must be wanting to build. It's not just any other person that you're gonna say, that you're gonna sell to. But at ceramic, they might be looking at something else, because theirs is when the building is finished and you need to tile your building or you need roofing for your building. That's when it's all finished. So when you send your CV, look at it. does it match what is required? I know we all complain about, these people want experience and we don't have the experience and whatnot and whatnot. Let's first look at the internship. Let's look at the, the graduate programs. Let's look at the internship, graduate programs, learnerships for engineering. We do your 4 years programs for engineers, because we know that from school they need to come in here. They will come in here without trade tests and all of those things. We need to prepare them for those, for them to be able to be approved to go and write trade tests and all of those. So we know all of that. So we do it on purpose to make it, a bit longer for you to be in here as a in a graduate program or some sort of that. So your CV cannot look the same for every job that you're applying for. It's not right, guys. It's not right. Look at it. And then the other thing is, ask yourself in terms of competency-based questions, the questions that will be asked on the interview, prepare yourself in that. If these people are looking for, and I keep on making one example because I want you guys to understand it. If these people are looking for a salesperson, prepare yourself prepare yourself not as a salesperson, but as a customer. However you would want to be treated when you get into the store, that's exactly what the company is looking for. They're looking for someone that would say, when the customer comes in and the customer is shouting and whatnot, how would you react into that? Put yourself in the customer's shoe, so prepare your questions based on that, so that's that. And does your education fit in what is being looked for? One is and Natemba is going to laugh at this. So in our preparation, I asked him a question. I said, there's something that you did in second year. Do you still remember? And it might come out on the interview. So you need to be, your education, it's not for you to just pass or for you to submit your thesis. It is, for you to be able to apply whatever you learn. You will be asked of something that you did in first year or second year. You must be able to, to give the answer on it, so please, those things for me are very important when you go for interviews. Please, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so these are for me, at the end of what I said on the previous slide is, please guys, again, it is very, very, very disappointing as a young person. You get into the interview and we ask you, what do you know about Corobrik? And you can't tell us, you can't tell us that Corobrik has been here for over 120 years. You can't tell us that it was started in Durban by two brothers, it's and all that information is on Google. It's a free and it's a free information that you can get. So please do your research in the company profile, do as much research as you can, and I'm just repeating that to say, your CV is required to match the skills that are there. Your attitude for me, and the reason why we repeated both the skills and the attitude was your attitude. Look at the company culture of the company that you're applying for. I know it's very difficult to find it on the internet, but look at the industry, and in the industry of manufacturing where we are currently now, we use a lot of other words that you might not like, because that's a language that is being used here. Will you be able to fit in? Yes or no? If you're applying for the financial sector, if you're applying in the engineering field, there's a certain language, there's a certain way that people talk when in those industries. So look at which industry does your company fall in, and please, let's make sure that we understand those dynamics, so that when we get to the interviews, when you see us not wearing suits and ties and everything, understand that is the industry. If I need to put in my reflector and my boots now, there's something happening in the factory, I jump. I need to go to the factory. So those are kind of dynamics that I'm talking about, that you need to understand the environment. You need to understand the business that you're going for interviews in. Let's go to the last slide, Sneh. Okay, so then I was asked this question to say, what is an asset to the organization? What do you think is an asset to the organization? Then I said to myself, I put these things here and I said, all of these things, and I put them in a circle on purpose to say all of these things goes into one factor. You know, if you have one of these things and you don't have the others, then you become a problem, you know. But the most important question that you have to ask yourself, let me just finish off. Yeah. You know, one of the important thing is, you know, are you the right fit to that business? If you are the right fit, you're definitely going to commit. You know, are you able to engage? You know, because engagement does not only mean that you must engage with your team. It means that can you engage with every department that you work with? You know, can you be professional at all levels? You know, at all levels. Can you be professional at all levels? You know, what is your work ethic? You know, what is your work ethic? So, you know, so those things combined for me then makes you an asset, because not only your department must then say, you know what, if you go to Tshepelang, you know it's going to be done. Every other department must know that if you go to Tshepelang, it will be done from an HR perspective. You know, it will be done. You know, this morning I received a call from our CEO, and our CEO says to me, Tshepelang, I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 done. You know, and you know, I'm just an HR specialist or HR manager in other words, but we do have an HR director, but he's in a meeting. But my CEO trusts that because he phones me, he knows it will be done. You know, so those are the kind of things that I'm talking about, to say who knows you and who knows that you can do the work. Not just know you, but do they know that you can deliver and you can do the work? That's how you become an asset. That's how you become recognized. And don't do it in a PT way that you become recognized and you're putting other people down because you wanna be recognized. Do it in a proper manner, professional manner, that you are known that you can do the work. So guys, that's my presentation. And I know, Sneh, we have 2 minutes, but let's put it for questioning and then I can jump.
Okay, thank you very much, Tshepo, for that. Does anyone have a question for Tshepelang? You may raise your hand.
It's not a question for me, Mr. Libazi, so it's just a comment. Just to agree with everything that he was saying, because it happened to me once that I had a different address that I was using when I was applying for a vacancy, and then they picked that up. And then they asked me where am I located, and then I told them that I had to be honest in that case, because I told them that I was using a friend's email address, because they hardly employ people from the location that I was in at that given point in time. But still, they did continue to do the interview with me, and then they were happy with that. It's just minor things that we need to note when we're applying for work, that are very quite important, because the HR department can easily pick such things up. So thank you to Tshepelang for stating that for us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Your name is, because on your Zoom, there's no name.
Sorry, it's Ayanda. I thought you can see my name. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, thank you very much, Ayanda, for that. I think one of the things that I think you mentioned, Tshepelang, you mentioned that in internship as well, it's a learning, you know, it's a learning curve. It's not a job yet, you know, it's not an employment. And then it means students must go. I know many students will go to internship in the following year just to get experience. But just to say that student must go there to learn, you know, to learn and take it like you're doing practicals, because you spoke about experience, which is valuable more than the qualification. I'm not sure if you want to elaborate on that.
Sorry, Sneh, the people have already jumped into the boardroom. But anyway, so what I'm trying to say to everyone is, you can't buy experience, guys. You know, you cannot buy experience. There's no such a thing. You can't even go to school for experience. So your qualification is important, but also note that your experience is much more important. And sometimes it happens that you feel that it's being unfair, in the organizations that we work for, we would take someone that has got 10 years experience than a person that just came out of school with 2 years experience, because we understand that that person has more knowledge and an understanding of the machines and all of those things. So yeah, it sometimes sounds very unfair that you went to school and someone else did not go to school, but those factors are also taken into consideration to say, you know, sometimes we want someone with that experience that can jump in and do the work, and that's it. So we're not saying your qualifications are not important. They are very much important, but we are saying that that's my reason why I said to you, even if you have a general worker or a tea lady or whatnot, learn from them. Don't take them for granted. Whatever they say, you know, take it and learn from it. You know, so that's what you know, I was trying to say. I'm not saying at all your qualifications are not important. So yeah, that's that.
Okay, thanks. I see Mdoz. Can you come in, Mdo, quickly?
Yes, I'm having a question. How are you all?
We're good, and you?
Yes, this thing of the HR, when they, after the interview, they ask about the salary and they need the pay slip. Is it necessary to give that?
Though, to answer your question, different there's you know, there's different companies in South Africa. Some of them they're really asking for that because they want to know if you know, their budget would afford you or not. Because remember, before we do all of these things, there's in the business language, there's what we call a requisition that you need to submit so that it gets approved for a certain salary that you're going to offer. So sometimes we do it for those purposes. Sometimes I don't know what they do it for, but for speaking from my experience, in most cases we do it. We want to understand if we can be able to afford you or not.
So, but can they maybe give the budget to you and then see if you can take it? Unlike saying they want your pay slip so that they can underpay you, because some of the companies do that.
Yeah, no, that's true. Some of the companies do it. As I said, there's different companies, they use it for different purposes. But specifically for us, and answering for me, is we use it specifically for the budget. And sometimes when you ask us on your interview, when we give you an opportunity to ask us any questions that you have, you ask us, what is the budget? Then we tell you.
Okay. Oh, okay, thank you then.
Okay, I have to jump, Snene. If there's any questions, they can just write them on the chat box. I'll answer them because I'll be listening in.
Okay. Thank you very much, Tshepo, for sharing that. Okay, you can write your question on the chat box. Tshepelang will be able to answer you. And thank you very much, Tshepo, for that. I think we still have time left. So I know that some of the students came in late, but then the first question that we asked students in the first session was students to reflect on the 2022. If you feel like you want to share, you can. But also, I just want to ask people who have mentors to raise their hands. You can raise their hand if you have a mentor. Clinton. I see Marisa. Okay, Clinton, if you don't mind, just to share with us, how is it? How is your mentoring session going? And then how does it help you? If you must maybe share us your journey around mentoring. Clinton? Okay, Risen, do you want to come?
Hi, well, I only had my mentor for like a week now because I got assigned it very late. But during the first meeting that we've had, I have learned a lot in terms of how to deal with problems, how to conduct yourself, and those kind of aspects. And I feel that going forward with the mentorship that the HCI Foundation offers, it will really impact my life, because it's learning from somebody that has already experienced what you might experience. So it's like almost like a shortcut in a way of you get all that experience without as much time that you have to sacrifice for it. So I really thank the HCI Foundation for giving me that opportunity.
Okay, thank you very much. I see that Clinton is unable to unmute. Let me just. Okay, I see Marisha, you raise your hand.
I also have been assigned a mentor, and he's been very helpful. When we first started off, we would have weekly meetings, and he just asked me if there are any questions I wanted to address, such as adapting to the honors lifestyle, preparing for the next year as well. And he's given me really good advice, especially on time management and working around the honor system. And after we've covered all the points and all the questions that I had to ask him, we have moved our meetings to monthly now, just as check-ins, and he's always been there as a support system, I would say. And it's nice to have someone to talk to who knows a bit about your field and is experienced.
Okay, thank you very much, Marisa. It's good to hear that that mentoring is helping you guys, and then you are learning a lot from that. And I think we, let me just see, Clinton, you can write your how is mentoring on the chat room, because I see that you are struggling with your mic. So I think what I can pick up, especially from Tshepelang's interview, for Tshepelang session, is that we need to be prepared when we go to these interviews. We need to do the research, you know, and then also the mood. One thing that she said, that you must learn the mood in the room. When you go to these interviews room, you must be able to learn the mood, be able to identify what kind of mood it is, because you meet, I understand everyone will be nervous, you're meeting CEOs and directors and all, but if you are prepared enough, then you'll be able to conquer that. So I think this comes to the end of our session. If there's no question, and then I'll give it then to Jamala to do the closing remarks.
Good morning, everyone. Well, it's still good morning. And thanks, Sinetemba, for really running a fantastic session again this morning. And for the students, really for showing up, for engaging, for really asking questions, being present. Yeah, so it's really great to see how the session has gone. I think perhaps maybe before I can give you know, thanks to the speakers, it's just maybe to reflect on a few things that were said today. And one of them is really about opportunities, where I think it was Tshepelang who spoke about opportunity. I always see highly contested. So I think that's really one thing that we should take away from this discussion. As we prepare to get into the world of work, we have to know that opportunities are there, they're limited, highly contested, and therefore we should go there fully prepared. Grab them with our two hands and make sure that we get the best out of them. So we shouldn't wait thinking like opportunities will come to us. We have to be there looking for them. We have to be there creating them. The other thing that he spoke about is attitude. And I think, you know, nothing can replace attitude. You can be a great worker, you can have really a fantastic CV, but if you get in the room and your attitude is really just negative, no one will consider you. So really think about that. And what I would add is just take risks. So sometimes, you know, you are freshly coming from the university and you wonder, well, who will consider me? I don't have any experience. I would say be out there sending your CV, be out there connecting with potential employers, be out there on LinkedIn, writing to recruiters, get in touch with them, ask them for advice. I think one quick way to help to get people to respond to you, sometimes don't ask for a job. Sometimes it's just a matter of saying, can I get advice from you? I see, I'm looking at your experience, your career journey. You feel like you're the right person to maybe advise me. Do you have a moment to advise me or to look at my CV and give me advice whether it's a right CV for this kind of specific job? So people often are very much open when you're asking for advice. When you ask for a job, I think people are just wary, but when you ask for advice, often people are willing to assist. So be out there to reach out to people, ask for advice, and see if you can get somebody who will help you actually to secure that first job, first opportunity in the job market. So that's it from me. One thing I would love just to say is really fantastic to see people coming all the way, Kwanele, making himself available to come and speak to us about unbundling your qualification. And he spoke about really quite important things. It doesn't mean because I studied biotech and therefore biotechnology, therefore I have to be doing biotechnology. I can be doing something different. So quite a very important, and it's an attitude that we should go with. Tshepelang speaking about, how do we transition from the university to the world of work? But I think really, he said it very well in every aspect of it, looking at our CV, looking at really those small things that sometimes we neglect about our CV, about our professional profile on LinkedIn that are really important to the recruiters. So I hope we learned something out of it. I hope you took note, and I hope you'll be using everything that you have learned here to help you secure your first job. A few elements that came from the responses of or reflection of our student. One is about issues with supervisors. I feel like, reach out to us, speak to us before time. I think just don't wait until it's too late. You've got Senatemba's email, you've got our, BP at hcifoundation.co.za. Any challenges that you're experiencing at university, even if it wasn't discussed here, please let us make us aware of it. Let us know what is happening, what are the challenges, and see if there is a way we can assist. I think we know the university, we know people at university, and we've got people who can perhaps provide advice at least. So let us know so that we can see how perhaps we can advise you, if there is anything we can do together. And the issue of supervisors, really, I think it's something that we should address. We should see how to address it. So write to us if you're experiencing any of such problems. I want to congratulate Marisa on her a thesis on state capture, and I think we'll be very much interested to learn more about it. I think it's something that it will be important to share with other people, with other platforms. So Marisa, reach out to us and let us learn more about your thesis. So that's it from us. So really, thank you very much for all of you for showing up, for coming and engaging with our team, engaging with the speakers. So thank you very much to Senatemba for putting everything together. Thank you very much to Fadila, on the mentoring side. So anything that you've got, any issue, please speak to us. So that's it from me, Senatemba, and to the team. So thank you very much and have a lovely day.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Thank you very much, Mr. Chamala, for those words. Let me just give justice to Clinton Nyati, because this wrote something. It says, my mentor is very helpful in various aspects of my life, not only limited to academics, but he extends it to mental and social well-being. He has been a supportive system to me with various challenges I had personally that might have made life difficult, but it has been good journey. I'm grateful. Thank you, HCI. Oh, thank you very much, Clinton, for writing that. Okay, thank you very much, guys, for taking your time. I understand there's also an issue around load shedding. Some of you are coming in and out, but with the hope that all the learnings that you from this session, you will take it and go forward with it. And also, thank you very much for attending. All the best, actually, also for your exam, the coming exam. And make your parents proud, make yourselves proud. You have done so well. You've been through this journey, I think, for the past 4 years, or others it's 5 years, but now finally you have made it. Thank you very much, and then we'll be in contact. Thank you very much, and thank you to the team as well, the HCI team as well. Thank you very much also to the guests who've honored us with their expertise and knowledge. And then this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.